Hey, it's the Lost Canuck. Well, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new, thanks for tuning in. Got my cooking hat on, so you know that only means one thing. We're going to be doing some cooking. And in today's show, there's a heck of a twist to it, and it's going to be fun. We're doing a three-way rib challenge. We're going to make ribs on my Oklahoma Joe's drum smoker. We're going to make ribs on the Lone Star Grillz 42-inch pellet smoker. And finally, we're going to make some ribs on the Blaz'n Grillworks Grand Slam grill. So 3 different grills, 2 pellet smokers, and 1 drum smoker. It's going to be a good challenge. I'm inviting some of the neighbors over to do a little taste test. We're going to blind sample everything and see which one that really has a good smoky flavor. Hey, let me know down in the comments what you think. So, we're going to take these St. Louis spare ribs and we're going to turn them into these super juicy, delectable, delicious ribs. Ooh, they're going to be so good. They're going to be so money. All right, stay tuned. And for my Hispanic viewers, a mis amigos que hablan español, los subtítulos debajo. And for my Hindi friends, Nietzsche subtitles. All right, so let's roll that intro. All right, well, as part of the rib face-off, let's trim up our St. Louis ribs here and get them all ready for the pit. Now, I'm going to do the exact same prep method for all 3 racks so that there's hopefully no differences. Okay, so this one is pretty thin down here, so I'm gonna just cut the end of this off. Now, for you guys at home, there's not much meat on there, but if you guys are at home and have one of those very nice lem or a meat maker grinder, you can use this trim to make sausage with. Okay, so there was a little bit of skirt meat there. Just take that off, and since they're St. Louis, we're going to have to demembrane them. So I'm going to square this up. There we go. So it looks pretty. There's going to be a hole in that membrane. Might make it easier to pull. Okay, so let's do the first membrane. I like to take a butter knife and just get underneath the edge here on a bone like that. And again, it's probably going to rip, and you'll see Lost Canuck make lots of mistakes. But that's how everybody learns, and even after doing it for a while, I make lots of mistakes, okay? So get your finger under there like this, as best you can. Oh, see, it's already popped through. So, let's try it again. Try and get it over here. You go sideways a little bit under the there we go. Okay, so I'm through the other side. There. Just like that. So you try and make a space for your fingers. And if this doesn't work, and we're probably going to do it on the other ribs, let's do the paper towel trick to help grab it. Okay? Alright. So just gonna, that one pulled not bad. Okay, so we have most of the membrane off. There's a little piece of it over here. Let's see if I can grab that with the paper towel. See? Yeah, I got it. So paper towel, when you try and grab it, helps as well. Okay, so that's not bad. Take off any weird fat lumps that you see here on the back. There we go. Okay, so there's one. I'm going to leave this whole. One nicely trimmed rack. And then we're going to trim the other two up. And then we're going to put rub on them. Overnight brine them. Okay, we're going to dry brine. We're going to dry brine these in the fridge. And you're going to say, hey, Lost Canuck, I'm pretty new to this. What's dry brining? Well, what dry brining is after you get your binder and your rub put on, you leave it in the fridge overnight, and the salt and the spices work their way down into the meat, and it just makes your ribs a little tastier. Okay, so this end piece here is a little thin. We'll take, where's the bone? Yeah, okay, so we're going to take this piece off. It's like what we did, just squared it up. The other one, they're about the same length now, yeah. Okay. All right, let's pull the membrane here. I like to, once I get it under there, you turn the dull side a little sideways. All right, so that's the part you don't want. That's kind of chewy. Now, look, some guys, I'm pulling the membrane. You're going to say, hey, Lost Canuck, why are you doing that? Well, that part is kind of, it's, first of all, it's kind of impervious to the rub, okay? So your rub won't absorb through the membrane, okay? Very well. It will a little bit. But when you cook them and you eat them, when your guests eat them, they may find it a little chewy, a little tough. Now, some guys take their knife and they score it all up, and then they get the membrane crispy. Hey, that's another way you can do it. I'm not saying that's a wrong way to do it. This is just how the Lost Canuck does his ribs, okay? Not saying that there's any wrong or right way to do it. It's all personal preference. So there's two racks. Let's get this last one trimmed up. Okay, now, if you got your meat grinder, just take that little piece of cartilage and bone out, and you have some excellent sausage grind there. Okay? All right, and if you're interested in a grinder, there's links for Lem and Meat at the bottom. See, I had two easy ones and now a tough one. I don't know why. Don't know why I swallowed that fly. There we go. Last membrane. These little pieces will burn, so you want to square them up nice. Okay. So all trimmed and demembraned. So now what we're going to do is put the rub on and season them up. And then we'll keep it in the Drip Easy storage tub here and throw it in the fridge overnight, and we'll put them on the smoker in the morning. Okay, so what I'm using for binder, and if you ever watched the channel before, and maybe you haven't, but I like to use, it's called W sauce, okay? It's Worcestershire sauce. It's made in, I think, Florida. It's really good. It's by Baron Burton's. I like it. Now, you probably won't be able to taste this at all, just like a mustard binder, but maybe in the back of my mind, I think it tastes better. I don't know. We're going to do the same for all three racks, and then we're going to use Meat Mitch KC-style rub. Okay, it's really good because some people might be spice adverse that I'm giving this to, so we're going to make everything G-rated, okay, for the ribs. I like spice myself, but some people don't. And I feel sorry for those people. Now this stuff you can apply pretty liberally. That's plenty. Now you just pat this down with your glove, okay, with your gloved hand. Pat it all nice and into your meat like that. Flip it. We're probably going to have to touch it up. Okay, there's one rack. We'll do the exact same thing for the other two. And since we're using the same ingredients, you don't have to worry about cross-contaminating them with other rubs or anything, or Again, that was the Meat Mitch rub, and I'll leave little links at the bottom. There may be some pop-ups while the video is running of what kind of rub I'm using, and binders and stuff like that. And if you're interested, just want to buy some, just click on those. Helps the channel, helps support the channel. That doesn't cost you anything extra. And at the end of the video, I'll talk about my lost Canuck store. I'll save you that pain until the end of the video. And again, look, I'm just an everyday average backyard barbecue kind of guy. I'm not a professional. I don't have a multi-camera setup. Nobody sponsors me. I buy all of this stuff, including the pits, myself. Okay, I just want you guys to understand I'm not one of those super duper pro channels. I'm just an everyday guy, just like my viewers. Well, maybe you're not an everyday guy, maybe you're an everyday gal or person of whatever, and you just want to learn about how to make ribs. So good on you. This is how you do it. This is how I do it. Those smell terrific, and they haven't even been cooked yet. Okay, so we're gonna use our Drip Easy tub here. And like I said, I kept all the mess in here, which makes my videographer happy because I don't have to do a ton of cleaning. All right, so I'm gonna go get the lid for this, throw it in the fridge, and I'll see you out at the pit. Now, what pit do we start on first? I don't know, the Lone Star, the Blaz'n, or the Oklahoma Joe's. I think the Oklahoma Joe's drum smoker will cook faster, but that's okay. I've got the little Vevor warming oven out in my garage, and as they cook and complete, and I'll use my RFX probe system to probe these so that they all come off at the same temperature. We wrap them at the same temperature, and they get stored at the same temperature. I want everything to be equal so that there's no bias. All right, so I'll see you down at the pit. Lost Canuck out. Hey, it's the next day, and it's your favorite everyday average backyard barbecue kind of guy, the Lost Canuck. We're down at the pits. I've got the Lone Star 42-inch pellet smoker totally loaded up here with Smokin pecan pellets, the smokiest pellet you can get, and as you can see, it's smoking like crazy. Got the pit set at 220 degrees Fahrenheit. We're gonna smoke like that. I got my Blaz'n grill works, and again, smokiest pellet you can get. This is got the hopper all loaded up again with the Smokin pecan pellets. Set at 220. Got my ribs here. They've been dry brining in the fridge overnight. They look great. And I'm almost ready to light my little Oklahoma Joe's over here. So we got all three smokers out. Now, the Oklahoma Joe's is probably going to cook a little faster than these two, so I'm going to put the ribs on these two first, and then I'll get that lid up, and then I'll throw the ribs on there next. All right, so let's get these ribs on there. And I'm going to put an RFX probe in each rack, just so I know where we're at. So we're going to do the purple one on this one. Put it down in the fatty end. You don't cook to the temperature. You cook to what your bark looks like. But I like to just kind of know so that I'm doing all tests fairly where we're at. Okay, so this looks great. And oh, we're going to put the fat end down at the hotter side. Okay, right in the middle. Perfect. All right, so there's one rack. Let me change out my gloves. Okay, so it's set at 220. Now these should be, it's noon, so these should be ready to eat about 7. Let's see if any of the neighbors want to come by and help me decide who the winner is. Use the green probe in the Blaz'n. So you got to help me remember that. Green in the Blaz'n. Okay, so she's smoky as well. It smokes better down here in the bottom on this thing. Gives it a chance to come across and up the stack. In my Lone Star, the smoke goes across the top and all. Okay, I'm just going to put the temp probe into this one and then get that pit lit. Okay. Alright, so as you can see, I've got the charcoal basket all loaded up with charcoal. It's lump charcoal, premium from Fogo. I got some chunks of pecan buried in there as well as on top. Just going to light this thing. Get the... Whew. Don't want to burn myself. Okay, so we're going to push this in and get her going. There. All right, so Lost Canuck here. We're at the Oklahoma Joe's pit. I have the temperature, the Chef's Temp S1 smart gauge and my little Brizo fan all set up. And I've got it set at 220, just like the other two pits. I've got the intake just cracked. Sorry, I've got the exhaust just barely cracked. And I have the intake 2 clicks open. So, as you can see, it's already starting to take off here. I'm going to wait till this thing equalizes right around 220, and then I'll put that last rack on there. Okay, so we're off to our 3-way rib challenge. We'll see you when it's time to wrap them, which usually is around 165 Fahrenheit internal. And we're going to wrap them all the same way with butter and a little glaze and put them back on and bring them up to final cook temp. All right, it's your Lost Canuck. I'm back at the Oklahoma Joe's Bronco 2.0 drum smoker. Everything's stabilized right around 225, which is really good. This little Brizo and Chef's Temp system is holding her really steady. I opened up the top vent a little more. Now it's right in the middle of one, and these are still on 2 clicks. So let's get that last rack of ribs put on here. We're about an hour behind, but like I said, these live fire ones usually cook a lot faster than a pellet. So let's get them on. All right, here's that last rack of St. Louis spares. Get her on there. So we got our spares on the Joe's Bronco. We got our spares on the Blaz'n, and we got our spares on the Lone Star. So I'll check back in when it's time to spritz. Probably be another hour or so. I'm just going to look at the bark quick. All right, so we're about an hour in. I'm just going to look at the bark on the Blaz'n. Yeah, starting to dry out a little bit, which is nice. So probably in the next hour, I'll hit that with some spritz. Let's take a look at the Lone Star sitting right at 225 or 220. Yep. That looks pretty good too. It's starting to dry out. I'll hit this with a spritz as well. Alright, these things, by the way, these Smokin pecan pellets really put the smoke out. Just telling you, even on my little Blaz'n, they really go. Hey, it's the Lost Canuck here. Well, I've spritzed the ribs, and just to make sure everything cooks evenly, I'm going to turn them around. Boy, that's the bark starting to look really good. And I'm just going to turn this around the other way. There we go. Using my grill hay gloves. Do the same with the Blaz'n. Blazons look really good. I'm going to turn it around and put it on this way. There we go. Those look pretty good too. Building a nice bark. And we're going to want to pause the fan on this one. And we'll turn them. These ones are actually cooking a lot faster than the other ribs. So we're going to just turn them this way. There we go. We're all done turning everything around. We've spritzed the ribs. It's been about 2 hours on the pellets and about an hour and a half on this guy. So I'll see you back when it's time to pull them and wrap them. Lost Canuck out. Hey, it's the Lost Canuck. Well, I'm back at the pit, and you know what that means. Time to wrap the ribs. So the Lone Star actually finished first. The internal temperature is 165, 166. The bark looks amazing. We've turned them once, and you can see there's a lot of smoke coming out of here. So we're going to put these inside and wrap them with a little butter and a little glaze, and we'll put them back on. Set the temperature up to put it up to 300 and let it cook the rest of the way. See you in the barbecue lab for wrapping. All right, well, we're in here to wrap the ribs. So let's put our butter down first. Put a couple of pads here on the bottom. And then let's put a little glaze on there. I've got some, I like this Blues Hog Champions blend. It's pretty good. So we're just going to put a little glaze on there. There. All right. And we're going to do this again. When we pull them, when they're cooked, I got some cherry habanero rib candy. All right, so I'm just going to go throw this back out on the pit, turn it up to 300. And by the time I get that done, I'm thinking our Oklahoma Joe's one might be ready to wrap. So I'll see you back out at the pit. All right, well, let's get these ribs back on the Lone Star. We're going to turn it up to 300. Nice and centered there. And again, I'm monitoring all my temps with my RFX system. I'm just going to bring this up until they're around just over 205. I'm going to pull them, glaze them, let them tack up, and then probably put them in the holding warmer until my neighbors can come over and help me do the taste test. Hey, again, we're at the Blaz'n. The Blaz'n ribs are done. They're at they're ready to wrap. They're about 165. So let's take a look at these. Oh yeah, look at the color on these things. Those Smokin pecan pellets really do a nice job. All right, let's close this up. Might as well turn this up to 300 while I'm out here. 300, okay. So let's go bring this in and wrap them. All right, well, we have the Blaz'n Grill Works ribs, and we're going to do it the exact same way as the other ones. A couple of pads of butter on the bottom. Okay, let's wrap that. Oh, we're going to put the glaze on. Got my Blues Hog glaze. All right, let's go put this on the Blaz'n Grill Works, and by the time we're done that, the Oklahoma Joe's rib should be ready to go. All right, so we're back at the Blaz'n. I got her turned up to 300. And we are going to put the ribs right there. And wait. All right, Lost Canuck. Final rack of ribs on the charcoal fired Oklahoma Joe's. Color looks great on this. Ooh, it smells great too. Take that out. I'm gonna wrap that. And then I have to turn up the temperature on the app, but we'll put it up at 300 as well. All right, let's go wrap this. Okay, we're back in the barbecue lab for the final rack of ribs. Let's get the butter down. A couple pads on the bottom. Plus some glaze. So we're doing these all the same way. All right, so let's get these things back. This will go back on the pit. I'll go into my app, turn it up to 300, and it should take about 2 hours or so to get it up to a little over 200. And we're gonna glaze them with my rib candy glaze. And maybe hold them in the oven until about 7:30, until it's time to eat them. let's go back out to the Oklahoma Joe's pit. Okay, we're back at the Oklahoma Joe's charcoal fired pit. We're just gonna throw these on, wrapped. And I'm gonna set my chef's temp system up to 300. It's sitting there at 250, it overshot a bit. And then like I say, in about 2 hours, these will be ready to pull. We'll put a little glaze on there, get them tacked up, and then they'll be ready to eat. Now, we're gonna wait till our neighbors can make it at about 7:30. Then we're gonna do our little test. See when it's time to pull them and glaze them. Again, we're back at the pit. That means the ribs have reached the low 200s internal. We're gonna unwrap them. We're gonna put some glaze on them. I got some cherry apple habanero. It's a really sweet liquidy glaze made for ribs by Heath Riles. It's very good. I'll leave you a link in the description below if you're interested. And I got my ThermoWorks sauce brush. And again, who knew ThermoWorks made silicone tools? Oh yeah, they look great. And just get my hand under them. Okay, so I'm going to put this back on the rack. And we'll put the fat side towards the heat. Just like that. We don't need that anymore. Okay, so now you don't need a whole lot. It's pretty sweet. Then we're just going to brush that around. Oh, and turn this up to 250. There we go. So that'll let it caramelize. I'm going to do the same thing here. These are great gloves. They're pretty thick, but they're good. Good for heat. All right, let's unwrap these guys. Let's see what they look like. Oh yeah. All right, well, these ones are done as well. Let's pull these off and see how they look. So we're going to let this glaze tack in a little bit. Probably about, I don't know, leave it on for maybe 30 minutes. And then we'll come out and pull them off. Put them in the holding oven until the neighbors come over. And then eat them. See what they taste like. All right, well, we'll see you when it's time to pull them and throw them in the little Vevor holding oven. All right, well, it's your friendly neighborhood Lost Canuck. The ribs are done. They look beautiful. The internals are great. I've been monitoring with my RFX systems on all 3 pits. And it's time to pull them off, put them in the hot box for about an hour. And our company comes. They look great. So I'm gonna mark each tray so I know which one is which. So I'm just going to throw them in these foil pans, cover them, and put them in my little holding oven. Oh yeah, that looks good. There we go. Look at that. Those are some beautiful looking ribs. Okay, just going to temp probe them a little bit here with my Thermapen. Well, you know they're done. And that's 175. And they were up as high as 185. See, it depends on where you probe it, but they're all well cooked. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this in cool down mode. There, I can write on the side easy. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, oh man, these ribs look awesome as well. Those are nice. I don't know, growing up, were you always told put it shiny side in to keep the heat in? Kind of how I grew up, but maybe we did things different. I don't know. This isn't as fancy as my other grill, so we're going to turn this down. I'm not telling you. I want to tell you that'll influence your decision. So, and here's our last rack. Here's our charcoal ribs. And these have a really deep, beautiful color. Those look great. They smell great. I don't know, leave me a comment below. Were you always told keep the shiny side in to keep the heat in, to reflect? I don't know. That's always what I was told. Maybe it's an old wives' tale, or an old husband's tale, I guess. Depends. Okay. Okay, let's bring this inside to the barbecue barn and we'll put it into the holding oven. Alright, well, we're here at the warming oven, my little Vevor food warmer. Got it set at 150. I'm just gonna put these in. Make sure that's closed. Okay, so we're in there. We'll go taste test them in about an hour. Hey, it's the Lost Canuck. We're back upstairs in the barbecue lab. We're going to do our three-way rib challenge here. Figure out who gets the highest number of votes. Is it the charcoal-fired ribs? Is it the pellet grill ribs? Will you be able to tell the difference? We'll find out here in a second. Let's cut some of these. I'll do them in order. I'll hand them out too. I got our neighbors to come over to help me.
Hello, neighbors.
Do a taste test. All right. So here's the first rack. All right. So I'll take some center bones out. That'll be the easiest. Okay. So let's just take a look at these. These got a really nice smoke ring on them. Okay. Now I know which pit these came off of, but so I'm not really surprised by that. Well, I guess I'll do a few more. You guys dig in? Nobody wants to eat, I guess. There's sample one, sample one, sample one, and sample one. So anyways, these are St. Louis cut spares, so just watch. There's some, probably some cartilage down near the end, but you guys nibble on those. Do you want one? Okay, you can have one.
You're gonna have one.
Well, I know which one's which.
It doesn't matter. You still have to taste it.
Okay, so here you go.
We can watch.
All right.
We can watch your expression.
All right. So this one's mine.
Okay.
And we'll check it out. Okay. Now they've been demembraned, so they shouldn't be too chewy.
Terrible.
They're so good. Oh man.
All right. So they got a decent bite off the bone. Like they're cooked the way they should be. Not bad.
Fantastic.
Okay, now we got to compare them though with the other ones. So remember how this tastes. Or you can keep a little. Okay, so that was sample number one. I tried going non-spicy on all the rubs. Okay, so hang on. We're gonna ask everybody at the end because nobody has a microphone. Okay.
So you only said 250 methods.
Charcoal and 2 different pellet grills. That's all I have, unfortunately. Okay. All right. So this sample, same as the first one. It's got a really decent smoke ring. It's almost all the way through, if you can see that. And you can compare that with sample 1. Both really nice smoke rings. And again, I know which grills these came off of. So again, I'm not totally surprised. So let's cut into this one and hand out some samples to everybody. Wow, that looks great. Okay, so there's number one. Oh, that's sorry, I almost screwed up the test. There's two. Everybody gets a 2. So here's number 2.
Me.
You, that's yours. Okay, this is mine. Again, I'm biased. Okay, so dig in, guys. Try it out.
Yep. Woo. I didn't think it was good. This little juicy fruit coming around.
Okay, well, I have my opinions on it. I'm gonna leave a little. Let's get number 3 out. Okay, so this one I can definitely smell the difference. Okay, but let's see if these guys know what's going on here. So let's just take a quick look. So no, it's actually this smoke ring's pretty much almost all the way through. It looks pretty good. It's a decent smoke ring. Yeah. It's not as big as the other 2 smoke rings, but we'll see if it matters. Who wants the double?
I don't need the
Rush.
You can have the I'll take a regular.
Okay, so that's sample number 3. Well, they were all rubbed, sauced, everything the same.
Really?
Cooked to the same temperature. Came out of the same package.
Okay, who likes
Yeah, let's just raise your hands.
number 1 the best? That's the first one.
The first rack, okay?
Yeah, that's me too.
Okay, so nobody likes number 2 or number 3?
It was a toss-up. I'm 50-50 on
What's next? 2 or 3?
2. 3.
Oh,
Okay,
I like 2.
I like 2.
okay, so everybody voted for number 1
Yep,
as their favorite.
yep.
And then it was a split between 2 and 3. See, I can't vote because I know how.
What did you like about
Oh wait.
number 2?
You gotta.
What did you like about number 2? Okay.
So for me, when I bit into number 2, one, it was a nice peel off the bone, and then also I just had this ridiculous little burst of flavor coming from the juice. I mean, it was all phenomenal, but that was a little touch where I could differentiate between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
How about you, Travis?
You like 3.
Yeah.
What did you like about 3?
Well, number 1 I liked the most because of the flavor and the juiciness.
Yeah.
3 I liked the flavor, but I thought 2 was more juicy, but the juiciness didn't outweigh the flavor.
Oh.
But
Was-
1 was the best.
What was the overwhelming flavor difference with 3? Was it?
More smoky?
Yeah.
I don't want to influence anybody, but okay.
Okay.
That was my thought. Reed was most.
Okay, put the
smoky.
microphone up so she-
Hello.
3 is more.
Smoky.
Which one did you like better?
I liked first one
Yeah.
the best, and then I liked number 2.
Yeah. Me too.
So it was more juicy.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
I liked 1 the most just because it was sweeter.
Yeah.
3 because it was smokier. And
Okay.
then I would say 2 just because it held itself together better.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the taste test. You all saw me cut them up. You saw they all had a nice red smoke ring. Hey, look, before we announce who won what, if you are interested in any of the items that I used in tonight's cook, don't forget to check out the Lost Canuck barbecue store down in the video description. I have all the knives and the cutting board and all that stuff. Now, they're affiliate links. They don't cost you anything extra, but I make a small pittance on it to help support the channel. So anyways, keep that in mind to help keep me going here. It helps me buy ribs and things like that. Okay, so sample number 1, just so everybody knows, came off the Lone Star Grillz 42-inch pellet smoker. Okay, now That thing was loaded with Smokin pecan pellets, okay, made out of pecan shells. It's not wood, it's out of shells. And that stuff smokes like crazy. And one of my favorite pellets, again, linked below. So that one, everybody seemed to like the most. The flavor, everything, okay? Which, hey, it's awesome, okay? And then it was a split decision between 2 and 3, okay? Number 2 was my Blaz'n Grillworks Grand Slam pellet grill. Again, 100% loaded with Smokin pecan pellets. And again, they're one of the smokier pellets you can get. So that was split everybody's second favorite. And then number 3 was the charcoal. That was on my Oklahoma Joe's Bronco 2.0 drum smoker. Okay, and it was loaded with lump hardwood charcoal. And I put, just to be fair to everything, I put tons of pecan chunks of wood in with the charcoal, so we got the pecan flavor. So all 3 had pecan flavor in them. I could tell the difference between, like, I knew which one was which, but yes, I could taste a little more smoke on 3 because it comes from a natural hardwood flavor. Okay, and these 2 a little more mellow. Number 1 was really good. It was quite a nice, pleasant pecan smoke flavor. 2 had the pecan flavor, but not as pronounced as 1. So there we have it. That's our taste test. I'd like to just thank our neighbors for coming over and eating ribs with me, and helping out the Lost Canuck Barbecue channel. And hey, that's the end of the test. Now look. Don't forget to like, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, please like, hit that notify me bell. I'll put it right over here. It tells you when there's new content coming, and I have lots of content coming all the time. And for the returning subscribers, thanks for watching. Very much appreciated. And I'm going to put some content up over here. Some more playlists. Check out some of my other videos. It helps the channel grow. It's always appreciated. And don't forget, Lost Canuck says, be kind to each other. All right. Bye-bye.